Paano ang pinakamasama ilarawan?
Ang modus operandi nila, for example, ito yung National Expenditures Program. Nakalagay dyan lahat ng mga priority ng presidente. Ang gagawin nila, ilalagay nila yung mga priority na yan sa unprogrammed funds. Ginawa nila, yung 399 billion na yan, inilagay nila sa unprogrammed funds. We are citing 5 provisions of the Constitution that violates, that's being violated by the unprogrammed funds.
Okay.
And this is Article 7, Section 2,
Alright.
22. Dapat kasi yung budget for expenditures may katapat na source of financing. Ito walang katapat. So, yan, violation yan ng Article 7, Section 22, Article 6, Section 25, Article 6, Section 24.
Ipaliwanag mo briefly ano
Yes.
ang violations sa
Ito,
iba.
minamandate nito, dapat talaga may certification ng National Treasury na meron talagang pondo para dun sa proyekto. Ito wala.
Okay.
Kasi ano to, lahat ito sinasabi nila there are only 3 sources of unprogrammed funds. Lahat ito speculative. One is loan, 2 is savings, medyo matagal pa yan.
And excess earnings.
Yung new taxes. New
Revenues.
taxes. Pero kasi lahat naman yung naka-incorporate na yan, yung sa 6.7.9 trillion na budget, lahat yan may source of financing. Ito wala. Yun ang maliwanag na maliwanag. At ang masama, yung 6.7 trillion na yan, actually 1.6 trillion yan uutangin din. Tapos magdadagdag pa sila ng additional 151 billion na wala namang talagang source of financing.
Okay, pero linawin natin. So there are 5 articles in the Constitution that actually make it clear
Yes.
for you that unprogrammed appropriations violate
Yeah.
the Constitution. But how would you justify the fact that since 1989, there were already unprogrammed funds in the budget then?
Wala nagko-question kasi noong mga nakaraan.
During the time of the
Pinoy,
late President Cory Aquino.
Yes, 1989 na nagsimula yung unprogrammed funds. Maliliit lang yan at hindi nagagamit ng masama. Hindi katulad ng 19th Congress, diyan nagsimula na yung pinakamasamang paggamit ng unprogrammed funds. Kasi
Paano ang pinakamasama ilarawan?
ang modus operandi nila, for example, ito yung National Expenditures Program. Nakalagay dyan lahat ng mga priority ng presidente. Ang gagawin nila, ilalagay nila yung mga priority na yan sa unprogrammed funds. Noong 2024, 2025, parang ang nangyari, yung insertions nila sa diversion parang 1.45 trillion in 3 years. At ang pinakamalaki doon, yung sa foreign assisted projects, yung dapat na equity natin, dapat kontrata natin yan sa mga foreign governments. Dapat meron tayong equity doon sa mga flagship projects like yung ating subway, yung PNR Elevated Rail. Ginawa nila, yung 399 billion na yan, inilagay nila sa unprogrammed funds.
And yung 399 billion
Pinalitan nila
pesos
ng mga
na
flood
yun,
control.
I was gonna say first, yung 399 billion pesos that was part of the flagship projects.
Yes.
Yun yung subway, ano pa yung iba?
Yung PNR Elevated, at marami pang
Basta
iba.
technically speaking, transport.
Yeah.
It could have been build more.
More, yes.
Diba? Pero nilipat sa unprogrammed.
Tapos pinalitan nila ng mga priority projects ng mga politiko.
Oo. Flood control
Flood
projects.
control, yung mga street lights,
Yes,
yung mga
yes,
malalaki
yes.
ang kickback.
Oo.
Doon nila nilagay.
But why would the president allow that? He will not benefit. That's what I don't understand.
Hindi ko rin maintindihan. Kasi
Why would he make his flagship projects suffer? Why?
Lagi ko nga tinatanong yan kay Presidente, ikaw nagbulgar nitong anomalya, pero bakit mo pinayagan in 3 years?
Tinanong mo personally.
Tinanong ko sa aking privilege speech,
Okay.
pero hindi naman sinasagot. Ilang beses ko yan tinatanong sa maraming programs. Sabi ko, 2023, 280 billion yung tinanggal sa budget niya. Pinalitan ng mga kalokohan. Hindi siya kumibo. Yung kabinete niya, hindi kumibo. Parang kasabot pa. Tapos nung 2024, 500 plus billion, di pa nga na-check yung mga ibang project.
Yeah.
Inilagay uli sa mga ganitong kalokohang project, hindi siya kumibo. Yung kabinete niya, hindi niya kumibo. Tapos 2025, 473 billion. So, bakit nangyari ito na hindi niya pwedeng sabihin hindi niya alam eh. It's his duty, it's his responsibility to know this.
But I think the big question is why would he allow it? When this is his administration, it's his legacy.
Hindi, yun nga ang yun ang malaking question.
But what are you seeing? Because you are in the House. You know the politics in the House.
Well, kasi hindi naman unprecedented to eh. Unprecedented to, 19 Congress. Wala naman ako no 19 Congress. Nung mga nakaraang Kongreso, hindi naman maliit lang yung mga insertions, yung mga diversions, unprecedented yung in 3 years, 1.45 trillion. Ibig sabihin niya, pinalitan mo yung President's budget. Naging congressional budget niyan. At ang masama, inallow ng Executive Department.
And why is that? Is it to win over legislators in the lower house? What are you saying?
Tingin ko, ginamit ito to incentivize members of Congress to impeach BP Sara. Isa yon. Pangalawa, siguro, because of the 2025 national and local elections. Nakita naman natin na bumaha ng mga ayuda, bumaha ng mga proyekto, basta administration candidate ka, talagang daming pera, ang daming resources. So yun nangyari na inuna yung politika kaysa yung pagunlad ng bansa natin.
And they've been describing this, Senate President Tito Soto said, this is the cleanest. This is the cleanest budget. Do you agree with that?
Well, it's a lot better than the three previous budgets, noong 23 hanggang 25. Kasi may malakas na minority sa House, may malakas na minority sa Senate, so na-scrutinize talaga yung budget. Pero mas madali na siguro yung mga pinalusot, mas madali nang ma-check yan sa Congressional Oversight Committee. So, kaya nga sabi ko, maayos na to. Kung meron man kami mga policy differences, siyempre, it's the rule of the majority pagdating sa policy ng paggastos ng...
But did you sign the budget?
No, I voted against.
Oh, you voted against
because of the unprogrammed funds.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about the unprogrammed funds. The President vetoed 92 billion pesos and they left the support to foreign-assisted projects.
Yes.
So for the audience, the foreign-assisted projects, para lang kompleto, no? It would be, for example, let's say, JICA. No,
Yes.
there would, let's say, may ipapatay yung tulay or a big infra project. Let's say JICA is supporting it, the Philippines has to have a counterpart. Yun yung nawala nung 2025.
2024 and 2025.
Pati 24.
Yes, 157 billion in 2025 and more than 200 billion in 2024. Ang total niya, 399 billion.
Okay. So my question is, why would the President allow that support to foreign-assisted projects be in unprogrammed when pwede namang pondohan na yan ng Pilipinas para meron siyang legacy, nakatayo yung mga proyekto? Why would you put it in unprogrammed?
Yun nga, hindi ko maintindihan sa Pangulo dahil mandatory obligation natin yan sa foreign governments. Kaya nga, nung nilagay nila sa unprogrammed funds, na-delay yung pagbabayad. Kaya ano nangyari? Nagbayad tayo ng commitment fees at least 20% ng project cost ang in-increase. Tapos na-delay pa ng 4 years. Yung opportunity lost. For example, subway, dapat yan, 2028, nakasakay na tayo sa subway. Ngayon, 2032. Yung PNR Elevated Railway dapat ma-operational by 2029, ngayon sa 2032. At ang total cost niyan, 1.3 trillion yung dalawang project. So, mag-i-increase ng mga 300 billion. Dahil sa mga penalties.
In terms of interest, no, the penalties.
Escalation of prices, ng labor and material. So, ang nangyari, nasayang yung 300 billion. Di ba? Di ba napakalaking kagaguhan yun? Nasasayangin mo yung 300 billion dahil ilalagay mo lang sa flood control. Tapos, yung 300 billion, siguro matatapos natin sa 300 billion, baka wala na tayong backlog sa classroom.
Pero ang tanong ko, kung nangyari na ang pagkakamaling yun, noong 2024 at 2025, bakit pa nila uulitin at i-unprogram ulit ang foreign-assisted projects?
Ang reasoning nila dito, meron daw mga hindi pa na-submit na documents for these flagship projects. Kaya hindi pa talaga kaya pwedeng pondohan. Yun ang sinasabi nila. Ngayon, for convenience, nilalagay na nila. Pero hindi pa nga hindi pa nga, ibig sabihin, hindi na-discuss sa Kongreso kung ano yung proyekto na ito dahil kulang pa nga sa mga documents. Kasi ang ginagawa nila, mula pa naman noon, for convenience sake, binabiolate nila yung Constitution. Simula noong 1989. Pero ito, ang pinakamasama, kaya kailangan na natin tuldukan ito dahil nagamit na talaga na para magnakaw. Magnakaw. Ginamit na to para magnakaw. So, Representative De Lima and I are citing 5 provisions of the Constitution and we are set to file it tomorrow.
Okay.
Para once and for all, ma-decision na ng...
Actually, you've read 2 of them. Do you want to continue with the
yung
other 3?
Article 6, Section 24 and 25, which limit Congress power of appropriation and preserve the constitutional separation between legislative appropriation and executive execution by restricting Congress from increasing the President's budget recommendation. Kasi ang ginagawa, di ba, kung ano yung sinabmit ng Presidente, 6.7 trillion, hindi na kami pwedeng sumobra doon.
Actually, close to 6.8.
So, 6.79. Parang
so,
ganun.
6.8, roughly.
6.8. So, ang ginagawa nga, para hindi lumampas yung gusto ng Kongreso, papalitan nila yung mga ilalagay nila sa unprogrammed funds. So, pero ito, pangako
kumbaga,
lang
ang
ito.
nangyari, kung sa budget po sa bahay, yung pambili ng bigas, ginawa nyo, pinambili nyo ng bag. Parang ganon. Walang bigas ngayon, bumili kayo ngayon ng sapatos o bag.
Saka itong unprogrammed, parang pangako. For example, dapat mandatory obligation yung share ng mga local government sa national taxes. So ilalagay nila dyan sa unprogrammed funds. So mabibigay lang yun pag meron ng additional revenue. Kung wala, hindi mabibigay. Pangako. Ngayon, tinanggal ni Presidente, pati pangako, wala na. So ibig sabihin, susubain na ng national government yung mga local government share.
But then that's against the law. I mean, that's clear.
Kaya nga, nagagawa nila ng paraan through unprogrammed funds. Kaya nga, sabi ko, dapat talaga na matuldukan na to, ma-define na to ng... At I am very confident with the Supreme Court kasi nabasa ko yung decision yung separate opinion ni Justice Hernando sa PhilHealth issue. Sinabi niya na all forms of unprogrammed funds are unconstitutional.
Sinabi niya yun. So you are feeling optimistic. Can we show this to the audience?
Yes.
So this is the actual petition already.
Special civil action for certiorari and prohibition.
So this is what you're taking to the Supreme Court tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay, this is the actual petition already. It's finished. Okay, so meron ka pa dito na the 3 Article 6, Section 25 prohibits riders.
Kasi,
do you consider the unprogrammed appropriation a rider?
Yes.
Okay. Article 6, Section 29 restricts the disbursement of public funds strictly to constitutionality valid appropriations. So, yung paniniwala mo, ang unprogrammed appropriations is not valid appropriations.
It's not valid kasi walang source of financing.
So I want to move now to what's interesting with the budget is it's been described as pork-riddled, right? Ang daming ayuda. Tumaas pa ang ayuda sa budget na to. Okay, so we have AIX now at close to 64 billion, Medical Assistance Fund at close to 52 billion, TUPAD at 22.4 billion. When you were there and this was, I guess, being brought to the lower house, because you weren't in the BICAM.
No.
Why? What is the intention of legislators? Well, pwede namang ilagay na lang to sa ahensya, ilagay sa PhilHealth, ilagay sa DSWD.
Yung AIX, I would subscribe na for hindi naman dapat ganyang kalaki. Pero talaga nakakatulong to sa mga lalo na dun sa mga nasa extreme poverty level. Ang hirap kasi pumunta sa national government, ang haba ng bureaucracy. Yung immediate need ang problema. Kaya nga ang mangyayari...
So why not expand the 4Ps?
Well, ganun din, matagal din yung ano eh. Yung, kasi to IX in crisis situation. So,
Okay.
immediate.
Okay, alright.
So, 2,000, 3,000 pesos, 5,000 pesos, mabilis na mabibigay ng DSWD. At makikita mo naman na talagang maraming nakakailangan kasi sa DSWD offices, makikita mo 6 p.m. nakapila na yung tao for an 8 a.m. appointment. Dahil sa haba ng pila. So may need.
But do
Kasi
you
walang absorptive capacity ang DSWD para ma-reach lahat ng nangangailangan. Unlike kami, mga congressman kami, meron kaming direct connection sa mga tao.
Yeah.
So, tinulungan kami ng eleksyon. Ang iniisip nila, pag panahon ng kagipitan nila, pwede silang
But
lumapit
that
sa amin.
reeks of patronage politics right
Well,
there. That
well,
is patronage politics.
Nasa tao yun eh. For example, ako, wala, ang ginagawa ko para yung IX, for example, may allocation for IX, lahat ng mga applicants, pinapupunta ko dun sa opisina, pinapupunta ko yung mga social worker ng DSWD. Bahala na kayo yan, di ako nagsasalita, wala akong sinasabi. Kasi kinikriticize ko, pero nakikita ko, may need talaga yung mga tao.
But then, President Marcos Jr. said that he wants to make sure that all forms of aid will not go through politicians or politicians will not have a role. Hearing you now, considering you are critical of the budget, it doesn't seem possible. Senator Amy Marcos says it's not possible. Politicians will always have a say in how aid
for example,
is given.
yung guarantee letter, wala naman talaga kaming ini-issue na guarantee letter. We're just writing the DOH to provide guarantee letters to our constitution.
Constituents.
To our constituents. And to for example, mayor, pwede na siya sumulat. Konsyal, pwede na siya sumulat. Yung ordinary citizen, pwede sumulat na humingi ng GL. Pero syempre, yung mga tao, pag sinabi, congressman yan, sumulat, mas may weight. May,
Pero do you believe na magiging politician-free ito? Yung totoo?
I don't think so. Kasi mahirap, wala namang absorptive capacity yung national government to reach out to the masa di ba? Wala naman silang absorptive capacity. So they will need a parang medium para makarating doon sa masa. At kung sasabihin mo naman local government, politicians din yun.
Senator,
And even, halimbawa sa DSW, Secretary Gatchalian is a politician, di ba? So, the President is, nagbibigay din siya. She is a politician. He's using government funds to, magbibigay siya ng pamaskong handog, di ba?
But then, Representative, there must be another way to make the institutions work. Ang tanong ko, for example, there's the Universal Healthcare Law, right?
Yes.
Why not fund that, for example, and instead of MAIF, make the Universal Healthcare Law accessible, put funds there, right? Bakit ganon? Bakit kailangan na nakaayuda na dadaan sa congressman at politiko?
Well, sabi ko nga, immediate Pagdating sa PhilHealth, for example,
But there are other countries that don't do this. This is not the way other countries support.
yes, siguro yung perfect yung mechanism nila sa atin, yung political system natin talaga namang talagang patriarchal lang Pilipino.
Patronage, yeah.
Patronage talagang otherwise kung yung mga halimbawa ako ordinary congressman na wala naman akong ganong resources, yung mga magagaling na walang ganong resources, hindi naman nanalo kung wala silang way of helping back to the people who voted them, di ba? Di naman nanalo na lang yung mga kapatid, mga anak ng mga political dynasties. Ang mananalo na lang yung mga bilyonaryo, di ba? So, paano?
So you believe this is necessary?
This is necessary,
Okay,
pero dapat
but-
limited.
Yeah.
At dapat may strict parameters. Kasi noong nakaraan, nung yung mga AKAP, nakita ko, hindi nakakarating sa tao, hinahati ng mga barangay,
ng
officials,
politiko.
ng mga politiko.
Oo.
So,
Okay, now, Senator Amy Marcos describes this budget considering na lumaki ang ayuda. She says it's reminiscent of an election budget. Ganun ba yun?
palagay ko, the president is trying to appease his allies in Congress.
And appease for what? Is it because of a supposed schedule? I mean, Senator Amy Marcos was talking about a supposed schedule, February, to refile the impeachment complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte.
Well, siguro